doing now, go on to your means that you are thinking like a business. Because every businessman, while he's thinking in his comfort of his bed, is thinking that the product or the service that he is rendering, somebody out there must buy it. Now, how are they able to do it? That you woke up in the morning and you have the top of mind awareness of that product. Dear Tina, and now that's sorry. Now there is a brand that comes to mind. There is something in marketing that we call the marketing mix, which actually jumps on 4 key elements. 1 is products, 2 is price, 3 is place, and the 4 is promotion. Now you can link these 4 P's to another 4 A's. Now if you are thinking about the products, we are thinking about acceptability. If you are thinking about price, we are thinking about affordability. If you are thinking about promotion, we are thinking about awareness. And if you are thinking about place, we are thinking about accessibility. So if you are creative, find yourself as a business. And if you are a business, then your talent alone is not what you need. Because the talent alone is the thought of being able to create. Now, how many businesses have we applied to that we want to work with? And about the same thing now, it is because CEO announced the dreamer dreamt one morning and said that I want to set up multimedia. Now, I am an individual. I don't have knowledge in every facet, but I am the dreamer. So, I am the creator. I am the creative. I can create music. I can create beats. I can create whatever. Now, I need to see that I am not alone, because people who go alone in this space don't achieve any success. Because you're a business. Business doesn't triumph in isolation. Business triumphs in collaboration, in partnership. Now, the moment I assume the position as a creator, whether I am doing music or whatever, I am saying that I need somebody who will take my business out there as a marketer. Somebody needs to do that blogging. There will be platforms that will avail themselves for marketing purposes. That is why you need somebody to even mention you to Mr. Bones, somebody to mention you to Enigma, somebody to mention you to MC Benito. That person is doing or exploring a marketing tool that we call the word of mouth. But now we have transitioned from word of mouth to e-wall now. Back then, you will need to move from house to house to create awareness about your brand, where you'll be moving helter-skelter trying to find grounds in the space. But now, the introduction of social networking has eased the pressure, giving birth to electronic word of mouth. So now, how do you amplify your product or service? Because you are a creator, you are a business, you are an entrepreneur. The moment you lose sight of the fact that you are an entrepreneur, you are missing out as a creative. Because so that creative prowess is in us from creation. Because God said that He created man in His own image. It means that the power to create is imbibed in us. But now, who benefits from being a creator is very essential. Not everyone. These are the individuals who position themselves and open themselves up for business conversations. Now, my brother Tony Dad is a very wonderful creator. He creates music. Now, after creating the music, it is left in his home. Who hears about it? What's your Kanye? And now we are check Kanye Dianasi. Who you good bar? Who boys name so you good bar? Me beyond your room. How do you have access to me? How do I know that you are talented? So, the talent is good. The talent is what makes you create more. But thinking as a business goes beyond just being talented. Now, there's one thing that we need to know as creatives. See yourself as an enterprise. If you see yourself as an enterprise, you need not just a manager, you need a CEO. I said that as creatives, you don't need managers. You need a CEO. Somebody who would actually open up business conversations, would enlighten you because you are green. You can't be a naive. It doesn't mean that we're into you. Yes, you may be well established in certain spheres, but in certain areas, maybe I won't come. So naiveness is not sickness. It is something that opens you up to learn. And we are saying that you need to learn, to unlearn, to relearn for your gain. The moment you cease to learn, you cease to earn. And as a creative, now after creating the melodies, after creating the sound, after creating the art, you need a platform to market what you created. And that's where you need to collaborate or partner with those who are already in that area. Now, there is another aspect that creatives need to be mindful of. Whatever that you are putting out there represents what you endorse. Whatever that you are putting out there represents what you endorse or what you have strong belief in. Now, my brother here is a creative. I am a creative. He's a creative. Now, if you are looking beyond what you create, there is a business image to the thing that we do. Now, if you're a young lady out there and you think you want to take this creative thing to the next level, look at the digital image you are creating online, because tomorrow it will come back to hit you. No serious business entity would play with the brand image. So why are you playing with your image now? Now, who artist or she is na camera that also. One and she will be as your would you go for us? So to the general public, we belong to a community where morality has a cost to play when it comes to creatives. Sometimes we picture now, we paint it to a business home. It will call MTN office, will call other business the office, and I'll call here this service you a Janai as home. No matter the service they are rendering, you think you'd be attracted to move in there. So the image you are building now, it is telling us something about you. And that image doesn't make business sense. That tomorrow, if somebody to search online about you, what will pop up? You know that it takes creatives millions of dollars to erase certain narratives about them online. Ask. People are paying millions of dollars to actually get rid of certain tags on them from online. Why do you have to go to that level? So if you have a futuristic mindset as a creative, then you are seeing yourself as a business. So your image matters, how you carry yourself matters, and the people who becomes your target audience also matters. So in all these things, you know that it is not about me alone, but it's a collective effort of people who believes in the creative prowess of an individual and join forces with them and make it happen.
Right, so I hope you are taking some notes and also jotting certain things down. And if you're just joining us, we are having a conversation on the business of music beyond the talent. Now, it brings me to that very question. As a matter of fact, per experience on the radio, I've come to realize that when you speak to musicians and talents as well, thank you very much, when you speak to creatives, and the conversation about the business aspect of what they do come up, you realize that they have no idea about what you are even talking about. Something that the talent is enough, writing and going to the studio is enough for them. But then again, we've come to realize that a lot of the artists have been cheated because they lack the business idea of music. And basically, we can throw the question to the public, specifically to our artists, to talk about the business aspect of music. And you realize that a artisan, wati afam, so he might speak to an extent of the awati, but the nitty-gritty and the know-how of the music business, they lack it. So Pennington, I would love you to take up this very conversation because you've put up boot camps and master classes, giving individuals the idea about the music business. In a simple term, for every individual who even do not find themselves in the music space but love music, to have a better understanding of music business. When we say music business, what do we mean?
So, music business is just treating your art or your craft as an enterprise rather than a passion project. Yes, so treating whatever you are doing as an enterprise, because I'm a living testimony actually. Maybe you guys need a little inspiration, so let me just take you down in everything. I started off as an academic in high school. I won all the quizzes, I won all the debates and all that. I even have my master from high school sitting in the audience right now. I actually can't believe I'm here pushing music business agenda. Why? Because I transitioned from that guy who was always the book long, quote unquote, to becoming an entertainment prefect. I was a DJ along the line. I used to rap back in the day. I still write music, but I don't perform. I only transitioned to become this negative version of me when I realized that the artists or the creatives in our space are either moving blindly or moving clueless. I'm trying to make a point that Ashanti region has been the hub for grooming, nurturing, and exporting some of the brightest talents. From High Life down to Asaka, which is like our recent addition. You begin to realize that there is always that catalytic moment in the Ghanaian industry story where there is an Ashanti addition. And painfully, most of these artists love their music to the extent that they begin to forget the value of the songs. About 3 weeks ago, I worked on a writing camp, after the seminar we had with candidates. After the whole session, we had about 5 songs. After sending it to the team for review, we ended up settling for 3 songs. Why? Because they weren't just listening to what the artists were singing. When I send your song to an A&R executive, someone above my pay grade, what they will do is that there is a platform called Chatmetric. It's a data and analysis platform. They will go look you up. In fact, everything you do from Snapchat, WhatsApp, Instagram, everything you do, there is an algorithm that maps your activity. Just don't forget. It's going to show whether you are an upcoming artist, whether you are mainstream, whether your social media engagement is moderate, whether it is worse, and it is going to, recommend means for us to, implement your page for it to be more presentable. However, these artists that treat their music as passion projects end up forgetting that it's a long-term game. Most of the artists in there want to be number one so bad. But let me tell you the truth. To make it onto Apple Music's number one on top 100, you need not less than $20,000 in sales. And when it's they bread promoters on promoting you need 20,000 people buying your song on iTunes to take your song to number one. Because let's say you are pricing your song at 99 cents, which is like $1 equivalent. So if 20,000 people are buying that song, you are likely to be considered to the top 10. It depends on who is on the number one is leading you back. And then you need the average of $20,000. How many of us here will have friends who have subscribed to Spotify to stream our songs? Even audio macra, the 7 Ghana cities, people are failing to do it. So it's always about like, okay, I'll do it for the exposure. I'll do it for the fans. I'll do it for the trends. Rather than, how about build a sound? I'll use Asaka as, a yardstick or a benchmark again. Charles to MC Portfolio. He was one of the very, vocal people.
The front runners.
Yes, during the agents of Asaka. Now, Asaka is 5 years this year, if you don't know. What started as a side project or a passion project for these gentlemen transitioned into a full-blown business overnight. And they had to adjust. Mind you, Asaka boys, as we know them, and I work with Asaka boys now, so I am trying to give inside knowledge. Asaka boys, as we know now, never had an idea for a PR person. You see what MC Portfolio was doing online? Someone shaping the narrative. Like, yo, the Accra people are trying to, water this Asaka thing down. Boys will come, oh yeah, then why? Look at what we did to Luxury. You remember Sad Boys in the House? Okay, when they are bounced. That video that came to trend during COVID. It was supposed to be a troll. But around that time, Asaka had already, planted the seeds in the minds of people to not only look out for newer sounds, but also readjust to the content they want to connect with. As it stands now, through the intelligence of Asaka, there has been over 30 new acts, locally and overseas, to the extent that even Ghanaians living abroad are tapping into their Ghanaians. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if this is not seen as a venture where and you know me, and I'm never be the school fees, the rent, the health insurance, because it's literally like waking up and going to your 9 to 5 as a musician, as a producer, as a video director, as a creative director, as a copywriter, as a blogger, as a vlogger. Anything you do in contribution to this creative art space, there is a piece of the pie for you. It's best for you not to sell yourself cheap. I mean, before we came in here, I was speaking to you about Ghana Boy. When Ghana Boy was first introduced to me, it was through a friend. And we were like, cool, let's push Ghana Boy. When I saw him, he was very passionate about his songs. That is where structures come to play. So I'll always say this. For me, I wouldn't be doing more of the practical and day-in-the-life analogies. I'll bring you into the real business context for you to get it. Because when Shane now, you might get it tomorrow. Most artists don't even understand certain terms. For instance, when you are in a studio with Kendi, I'm using Kendi because the pedigree of a producer Kendi is he has experience. He has knowledge of certain things an artist may or may not have. So if Kendi tells you, okay, I feel like this song needs a Kempaluta verse, maybe it's right. I feel like this song needs live instrumentation. He might be right. But there are times where artists walk into the studio and, just as you said, mere hearsay, and they're failing to learn. Whenever I meet artists, the interest is through the roof. Boss, you can hear fact, you are speaking facts. Even with the managers, they say the same thing. And I like the fact that, you stated clearly, there are some people who are called managers. I feel like the criteria for choosing managers here in Ghana should change. Or your downfall, or your bra, or your senior man. He doesn't qualify to be a manager. When somebody is managing you as a talent, it's not just about a new body. It's about the business structures and the strategies we tend to implement to make your brand successful. I'm going to be very honest with you. Without radio, some artists or certain artists will be handicapped. Without TikTok now, certain artists will be handicapped. Without the right producers, certain artists will be handicapped. But how do you bring all these things into one pool and then select them according to your strengths? So now we have a problem of artists seeing everything and liking everything and not knowing how to go about achieving it. Why? Because we fail to understand that most of the various things we see online or out there are procedural, like it takes time. I have a very long-standing relationship with MC Portfolio, and it might cut me the slack of having to pay him X amount of CDs when I'm trying to pitch an artist to him. But maybe if your manager reaches out to him and he listens to him, the first two lines will kind of in common here. So I'm on budget, I'm on the rate card. And when you answer can't franchise India, your artist might be very talented, your song might be so good. And let me correct this. Most artists or management like to say this a lot. Oh, today you don't want to help the artist. Oh, he will blow, we will see, we will meet at the top. Of course, I want you to meet me at the top. That's why I'm not trying to also sell for you for free.
So it all comes together as being part of the business.
Business, you understand? But you need your woman, a man. Artists, you are uploading a song, and we'll get to that. You are uploading a song, and your metadata is incorrect. And when I say metadata, it's the details on whoever contributed in making the song. What uploading you did down there, aka bone shaker. But then your producer, the DE. How do you want that producer to get paid? Because whenever we are saying, oh, and our artists, we have a producer, we see, and that's our first Canadian now, so they failed to key in the right data. There was a similar case last year, the case got thrown out of court. So two producers worked on Tireless Water. Maybe see that song? Yeah. Two of the producers on that song are from Ghana. Yes. One of them chose to take an upfront. And as Ghana man as he is, all just zero same contracts they won't play. So he took the money, signed the contract, the song came out, went on to become very successful, went on to win a Grammy, and then he began to realize that I wasn't credited. Even with him, or no man is can see I'm credited. Meanwhile, his documents were saying, yo, Charlie, whenever you look through the documents, he's only arguing from the fact that they told him they'll be paying him quarterly with the royalties for I think 5 years. But then he took an upfront of $150,000 and $150,000 a kind of dollars is in the sounded very normal. $100,000 is the equivalent of 1 million Ghana cedis, which is 10 billion. It's got 15 billion. Actually, go to one share contract. Went ahead, released the song won the Grammy. Now the Grammy acknowledgement, abono. The Grammy recognition, abono. At the same time, he has sold himself short. And only yet your Chicago. So how much more you the guys here who goes to the studio and you are like, oh, Charlie Kenny, so what changes from giving Kenny 50% of your song? Because the music business says producers or composers own 50% of the composition, period. It's a basic rule. And like any music lawyer or any learned person in this music business will tell you, and the artist on the song is called a performer. That is why when they are signing an artist to a label, we sign you and your pseudonym. Your pseudonym is your stage name. Your friend Paul, yes. But then my pseudonym is MC Bernington. MC Bernington will be taking performance royalties from the DSPs. And then Amofre Paul will be taking publishing or composition, like a compositional royalties from the publishing side. Because that shows that I own that composition. Most artists don't own their compositions. It's now we call writers' credits. Now your writers pay 6. Now artists can cast the world. These things need to be well spelled out to these artists. Because you can't, just walk into a place and choose to do things your way because you don't know. Ignorance of the law is never a plea.
So I'm thinking, if we are to expatiate on all of the things we need to know about the music business, it actually involves a lot, which we can't exhaust here. But basically, since we are here and we are part of this very conversation, we are creating an opportunity for individuals to also reach out and create that connect with you. So I beg of you, of everything that we are saying, again, I reiterate that you take notes, and for everything explanation that you also would need to just come back for that very explanation. I think after the conversation, we'll also open the floor for other individuals to ask the question and get clarity on all of the things. Now, for what Bernardson has said, he has actually spoken about the finances of certain artists. Now, it brings me to this very, very question I want to find out. Artists are releasing songs on the DSPs all of the time, but they are still struggling financially. What are they losing out on the business aspect of it, Mr. Bose?
Okay, so there is a bit of an element of some not knowing actually how they could make money off their intellectual property. Now, musicians need to move beyond just streaming. Let me say this. Now, the typical Ghanaian artists want to have streaming numbers, and that has become the new normal. That as a creative, you need to go viral. As a creative, you need to have that thing. It's good because in the orange economy, virality has become something that most of us are chasing. But in real lifetime situation, it's not only about the views, but it's about understanding beyond the views. Now, creating money beyond the streets is very essential, and it depends on what you do before you went viral. In the past, everybody was preaching about seeking or getting the attention. That is where we go into the views, we go into the likes. That was the attention economy. Now, when it comes to the creators economy and the attention economy, actually move from the attention economy to the intention economy. Now, with the intention economy, it's no longer just about the one numbers, the views, but it's about action. So now, after going viral, or maybe I have this video which went viral, and a friend of mine posted it. We came to the Kumasi City Mall here. We went to one of the shops around, and there was this product that they charged the price £1.99, and they've written RRP at the top. So when my friend actually saw it, they were like, "Hey, I hear 1.199, I'm on the 49.99." I'm sure they came. So he picked his phone, and I said something funny that went viral. Now, what I said was that, and the 199 there, RRP means that rest in peace. And the price down there, which is the Ghanaian price, is for people who are living. And he said, "Oh, who are? You remember 199. What's your idea? 499. Now he posted the video, and he woke up the next morning, and the video is everywhere. Now the big question is, the video went viral not because it is of importance, but it is what is engaging. And there is what is happening in the space that we call the polarization and the echo chambers. This is one of the things that is affecting society now, or is one of the societal, should I say, negative strikes that we are getting from social media. It's not about what is essential, but it's about what is engaging. So when you get to that chamber, you can see that those things that are viral now are not because they are the good materials that you've gotten in the system. Viral stuffs are not necessarily the good materials that you've gotten in the system, but they are viral. Now, how do you move beyond just the views and make business out of this. Now, in the music business, you can't just have one sector working for you, but you must embrace every aspect of the music business. And one of them is one. There are events where artists make money. And somebody said that me young blow here, may never making money. Before you put out a song out there, make sure you've done all the needful by registering your material with the right institutions or the right quarters. Before the song go viral, your money is actually going down the drain because the song is not registered. So most artists are thinking about, oh, say me I'm going viral. It's not about you going viral. There are artists who are not going viral, but they are making money because they are doing the right things. There are artists who have gone viral, but they are not making money. Sometimes it's about you being intentional about what you do and thinking that you're a business. Say if doesn't mean that you don't register your business. If you want to operate as a business owner, whether you are thinking of making profit or not, time and big digital labor. My brother, time or register business. No one just can. Oh, business. So he registered the business before thinking about making money. So that when somebody wants to pay you, he knows the right ways or the means to pay you. And you may have a name to the brand. So as a creative, the business is not just about you thinking that I should be that big before I make money. But you need to make sure you position yourself in the business well and understand that these are the traits. And let me share this thing quickly. Then I will let my brother Benetton actually take it on. Now, there is sync licensing, which is one of the things that artists makes money from. And you go like sync licensing here, there are some songs that are used for sync purposes that are not even popular. It's created intentionally, and they went in for that video and they won. That's why some of the songs are over 10 or to say they are calf. They are not popular songs that you know. But somebody knows that no, the possibility of the world requesting for a song that will unite us through football is very high in the next 2 years. So let me create something intentionally and pitch it.
An example is the Kweku Flick Black Star song.
And pitch that song. So you may not have been contacted directly, but your team knowing very well that they know more beyond you would actually tell you. How about the character y'all told the name you could actually tell that most of the dirty work that were done about the song was from my brother. And how was he able to do that? Now, it gets to a point, somebody who has, a futuristic mindset will look at a project and predict that, no, let's move it from this to this time. Because this is the right time to do ABC. And you as a creator, you think that the moment the song has about changing they're fun too. Fans and say Fabra. But strategically, you've not positioned the record so that you can make money out of it. Now, the next thing that I want to touch about is the direct to fans monetization. Artists, beyond the stream, you can make money. And now, I was asking the other time, how many streamings would give a Ghanaian artist? Ghana for streaming in your power or audio market near you. And how come Baba has 0? Because who come numbers in the theatrics in Kakra, and then we was streaming fans. And my brother spoke about the last time on TV and who are TV. Now the numbers isn't real as you see them, or you are moving beyond just the numbers to an audience where you can monitor. Who audience about there maybe 10,000, and now 5,000. Now you know so where they are listening to you from. It's okay, maybe the UK. That is where your investments need to go. That is why we are in data-driven economy. Don't just release money because you think you are releasing money to somebody to do you a favor. Every cent must bring results. So as a creative, you don't just push what you know people may not accept it into a target market you know that is not yours. Sometimes you need collaboration to tap into that market, not you being there. And how do you actually get into markets that are not your home ground? That is how you collaborate. So a typical collaboration like Raymond and Selena Gomez. A strategic collaboration because Raymond's audience is not that of Selena Gomez. Now Selena Gomez has all the numbers in the world when it comes to the top 5 most followed creatives in the world. Selena Gomez will actually make that number as well. So with all these numbers, why don't we intentionally, the intentionality is key, position the sound of Africa into that greater market. Now they cannot jump to our sound if they don't feel connected. So the connection was built through Selena Gomez. And now that song is the most streamed Afrobeat song. Aside that of that song by CK and Kwame Eugene, Love One Tete. So it is the intentionality. So as a creative, don't look too far for the money. The money is around you, but as you evolve, it becomes bigger. Start small. There are sometimes you need to hire the services of experts, but maybe you don't have the strength to push in there. You can actually outsource some of the services, and others too. You can build a solid team around you. The young individual. I know Farouk was just a videographer to Black Sherif now. Now he's a force to record when it comes to videography. He's behind all the creative works of Blackwood. And he's growing with a growing brand. So sometimes you should start with the people around you because you don't have enough to pay for the services of experts entirely. But when you see these wisdom in the guys around you and you think you can save money to promote your works in other facets, do it than to spend money on that. And say, I'm going to move that crash. Artists be about one. Artists no only or baby are free. But artists no. But artists now urban. Or no power channel. Or the guests therefore the village.
Superstar attitude.
Superstar, now superstar I will I am not against the fact that maybe that is how you want your brand to be seen, but it's about you being treading cautiously. Sometimes the brand that you are building, who this car, who is this car for maybe a woman, who this car so don't change maybe at 10,000 because you want to position yourself as now can't buy change 10,000 and go. Any talent in any change in any work is I'm not saying say don't dress well. But be moderate in your expenses because you are not up there. At a sawa obi ehu be more be invest wo mu a famie na ye nyembra. Also here 4-bedroom apartment. O here car. O here mobile phone. Then you look through it and you see that this creative wouldn't get to anywhere. Because all the things that he's seeking for is not what will propel the talent to the top, but it is what will actually be pleasing to his people. It is actually, he wants to be on top of his peers, but not on top of the music business ladder. And he would want to run to heaven. And just a heaven. So the person artists are stay relevant for the next 10 years. What are some of the things that I need to do? And they will tell you that no. You need to maybe do a forecasting. Let's see your son. How do we do these projections for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years? Or doing yes, or doing force, or doing my. So all the investment that will come, whether $100,000 is going into the Papua, the target, nothing was invested into the talent that got him that dollars. And that's the mistake. It's not that we don't have money. But it's about investing in the wrong sectors, in the wrong time, and in the end, we cry that we don't have money to do what we are supposed to do as creatives.
Great conversations we are having. In Komoni on the Young Wabo City. Thank you very, very much. Joining us is Bismarck Kwame, who is an industry professional with expertise in music, business, and also development and strategy. Or buy and chair, but then I think this is a question I can actually ask you. Now, one of the things we've come to realize that musicians are missing out and not giving so much attention to, but then also the kind of parity is about publishing. What in simple terms, for a better understanding for everyone over here, when we say publish, what are we talking about?
Good morning to everybody. So this is the third time I'm speaking, no, fourth time I'm speaking as a program like this in Kumasi. The first two, I did it myself, that is 2019 and 2020. I did it myself, the portfolio was the MC that time. So that's always been my passion to educate people when it comes to this. This is what actually gave birth to the company I'm working with. So it's that deep for me. So yeah, publishing. So let's say there's two sides of a coin, right? In simple terms, two sides of a coin. Masters, publishing. Masters is the sound recording. Publishing is the lyrics itself and the melody in the song. So when all is put together and you have it on a beat, that is the sound recording, that is the master. So that is the song itself is the master. That's one side of the coin. And the other side, that's the publishing, is what the song entails. Publishing side, is more tailored to the songwriters and the composers. So if you are an artist, you are entitled to both sides of the coin. That is the masters and the publishing. So for publishing, let me break it down again. So for publishing, we have administrators and we have publishers. So we know Ghana here. Let me break it down so you understand this clearly. Ghana here, we have Gamro, right? Gamro is a collecting society. So Gamro more like collects most of the revenue that comes from people playing your songs on radio, on TV, parties, and all that. And that is the publishing revenue. The money you receive from DistroKid, TuneCore, or any distributor, that is the masters, sound recording. And that is the basic one we all know. But the publishing side is what most of us don't know, and that is what is very important, because now we've come to understand that there's more revenue in publishing even than the sound recording, because the sound recording, even see Spotify, right, or Apple Music, or most of these DSPs, they will pay for the masters, right, and they will pay mechanical royalties to the publishers. So if somebody is streaming your song on Spotify or on Apple Music, you are entitled to both sides of the coin. So the publishing is what the song entails, the songwriting, the composition, and all that. So publishing, I don't know if is it understand? Like, are you guys understanding?
Yeah.
So, okay, so publishing. we all know the sound recording, you use DistroKid and all that. So the publishing, if you want to collect your royalties on that side, you can sign up to BMI, which is free to sign up. BMI, can sign up to ASCAP, can sign up to PRS, most of them. So basically that's it.
Right. So I know for some of the things he said, he's used the terms very well, and you're a bit confused on that. I clearly would understand when you don't understand that, because he's more in depth with the music business itself.
Yes, and he's talking music business.
Music business, exactly.
It's always artists now you know that you don't know what he's talking
exactly. So that is music business for you. But let's also acknowledge the presence of Mr. Safo Kantanka, who is the director of Ashanti Action Central GS. Mr. Safo Kantanka, let's clap for him. Thank you, sir, for being available for this very event. We also have Miss Adelaide Bia, they call her Powers, the head mistress for Kumasi Girls. Thank you very much, Mommy, for being a part as well. We also have Mr. Samuel Atta, the culture coordinator for GS. If you're here, let's see you. Let's see you. I also want to acknowledge the presence of Kendi Beats. Kendi Momo Beats Baby. Now he's actually worked on some hit songs as well. That is Kendi Beats for you. Again, I'll be acknowledging every individual when they show up. Now, for those of you who just joined us, this is the Music Summit. That's the first section of this very event that we are doing. So basically, we'll move into the Media Summit as well later on. On the topic, we are discussing the business of music beyond talent, and we are touching music publishing and royalties, artist management, record label structures, and also distribution platform. Mr. Bones, let me come to you. You made mention of no, it was actually Benetton, when he made mention of we lately every individual thinks that they are artist managers. Every individual wakes up just because by virtue of a relationship he or she has with an artist, they tend to take that very position as an artist manager. Should every artist have an artist manager?
The answer is no. To an extent, yes. Because, so for the no, it's just like different human bodies, different prescriptions. You might have a headache, right? But then Laters, paracetamol, will work for you. I might need Tylenol. Mr. Bones might need Panadol or Advil. We need paracetamol, but then different, dosages of it. That's for the no side. The yes part is because you need your business to be in order. That is why you need a manager. However, most artists barely make it beyond the developmental stages. I'm sure, sir, we don't really pay attention to the essence of developing an artist. Go to Mavens in Nigeria, Don Jazzy's label. They spent 3 years. There's an artist I met there last week in a camp, and that guy has been with them for the last 2 years. You've never heard about this guy. He doesn't have Instagram, like his artistic Instagram. He has his own thing going on. Why? Because they are trying their best to groom him for everything he's, bound to do when it's his time. Your songwriting has to be on point. Your image has to be on point. Even with your sound, it has to be on point. When my brother Kwame was talking earlier, he made mention of knowing all these rights, societies, and all that. But mind you, most artists can't even afford to register for the ones we pay. For instance, he mentioned PRS. PRS for music takes a standard £150 for signing up. It's a one-time fee payment. If I, a consultant, recommends this to a Ghanaian artist, do you know what the boys come back and tell me? Hey, you get the board you, what you 500, you know, sharing your money. And I mean, I need you. It's just like going for a driver's license. Look at the process we all went through to register for our Ghana cards. From your biometrics, your residential address, that is what they do. Now, I made mention of when artists are uploading songs, they make shortfalls with the metadata and all that. All these things come back to bite them when it comes to you asserting ownership over the song. Most artists need management to direct their part, especially the ones who are working towards a goal. The ones that don't need management have to go back and rework on themselves, because the criteria for which we look through to pick management here in Ghana is very poor. If you're an artist or you're a creative and you are picking somebody to manage your business, at least, you need a bachelor's degree holder, at least. Someone with in-depth knowledge to understand business, even presumptive music business, but then they need to understand how systems operate. But it's a for medicine, so make music. Respectfully, you need people with background or affiliate knowledge in the field you are trying to bring them in. Because at the end of the day, whatever decisions they make on your behalf, you feel it the most. And most of the legal reps here can attest to it. The first person to be invested in is the artist, but the last person to get paid is the artist. Do you understand that analogy? The last person to get paid in this whole music business, food chain, is the artist. So it's either you are going to see yourself as an artist or a businessman. Somebody is a businessman. Although he's going to be paid at the last part as an artist, he's still at the decision-making table. That is what makes him different from your traditional up-and-coming artists or their managers. Some managers don't even know how to command the attention of the people they are engaging. Managing finances, managing relationships. I want to send a song onto the platforms. Kwame will tell you, submit the song at least 4 to 3 weeks to its official release date. At least maybe 26 days. We're recording and now to Snapchat now where it's been through fire emoji now. Hey, boss, you better drop it the next week. They catch us to be dropping the next week. You call me enemy of progress. Let me tell you why the industry has accustomed all of us to release songs on Fridays. Because on Friday, the whole world, music playlist, it readjusts. Let me just give you an idea again. Every day, on the average, about 250,000 songs are uploaded every hour. Around the world, Nipa 1.1 might be here, and they will be uploading EP, will be uploading album, will be uploading single. This very moment we are speaking, somebody is also going to the studio for the first time in their life. Somebody is about to drop their biggest song in their career today, right now, this moment. Being intentional, being very calculated. Kwame can tell you, Kwame has tools. That's why I'm going to be citing him more often. Because with distributors, they have analytical algorithms to be able to predict when it's very appropriate to release what song. The only credible catcher said the month of April, and I'm saying this here, really, the month of April from the 1st to 10th week, and you're hot for Ghana, I say. In fact, even from the last Friday of March, very hot, and lots of songs are dropping. It's who your artists now dropping within any of these brackets: hip hop, Afro beats, Afro swing, Ghanaian drill, amapiano, whatsoever. If you don't have label funding or distributor support, your song will go unattended to. Especially if you choose to release the song at an unprecedented, moment. Songs need at least 12 days to marinate. I'm saying this because metadata, and I will keep emphasizing on this. The main reason why we are all here is because we want to make ends meet from our artistic inputs. Now, what is the point of paying for an exclusive piece for 15,000 Ghana cedis and putting it up on the streaming platforms and not making up to $50 after a whole year? Yes, I know managers or investors who are facing a similar thing with their artists. Why? Because they weren't intentional. Some songs, they are good, but things mean breaking some barriers. But let me tell you what, as an artist, as a creative, as a musician, as a songwriter, as a producer, look at your catalog just as you look at your Instagram page. You see how frequent you keep posting, how frequent you keep reposting. That is the same thing you should do with your music. Yes, if your sound maybe making sense next 2 months, also drop in January, so that it can grow on the people. There is a cycle of ditching records the moment the next one comes. Look at what R2 is doing with Oba. Look at what Sarkodie is still doing with Adonai. How many of our up and coming talents? There is something we call on the streaming platforms listener retain or listener average retaining time, right? If I should come to your page, now the percentage without skips, how long will it take? It will never be 2 hours. Go and listen to Sarkodie and the lights. You can go as high as 3 hours, 4 hours of non-stop music. And that is how much work they put in themselves. We'll be able to do 1 month. Go and look at the Michael Jacksons, Fela Kutis and all that. Back in the day, they had 10 minutes, 12 minutes. We are very lucky we've shortened the cap time for music listenership because, the listeners are more inclined to the chorus and the beginning side of the song or even the bridge. And all these things are arts. If you don't find the right, music directors, right, songwriters, right management people to help position your song, and you're going to find you can drop an Afrobeat song which is very hot. Spotify or Apple Music might give you a nod. Oh, okay, let's put this guy's song in New Music Friday. Okay, if your music is there, what does it mean? How do we translate your exposure into income? So it takes me back to what Mr. Bones was saying. Artists to find source of income. Most of the artists in here will take at least the average artist. I mean hard-working artist. When I say the average, a hard-working artist, I'm not making the example. If you start music and you are very serious, you have at least 24 months, that's 2 years, to actually start seeing real money come from your music. Apart from that, forget it. You might be lucky enough to have the likes of YB Digital looking at your back ends for you consistently, making sure you are actually getting whatever you are supposed to earn at the end of the day. But independence, it's good to preach independence, but then most of the independent artists here are independent and not learning. And it's a big problem. If you don't know something and you shut up, for those who know to teach you, it's a new moment for you. But if you don't know and you claim to know, and the ones who know shut up, to listen you spew your quote-unquote BS, that is where we know that your future is not assured. Your art is going on, actually, if I cry, like, no one from Accra to yourself, being super. Be the other. You get what I'm saying? Having management comes with a lot of tasks. That's what I'm saying. You need people with in-depth knowledge. Uncover manager, say, when they say you wrap up with boardroom, you think about you negotiating, you bargaining. What me share opinion the manager? Now manager me cross the artist. How is that possible? At the end of the day, you have to know this. Investing in yourself, investing in your craft still comes back to you. You might have a budget of 5,000 Ghana cedis, and it could afford you for just 2 radio stations to consistently play your song for the next 2 months. Stick with it. And once I work 5 radio stations or 10 radio stations, you can't. Let's call a spade a spade. when somebody comes into your circle as an artist, as a creative, and they quote and unquote, don't see it as a free lunch, guys. Yeah, what will be in our business? I'm telling you, all the artists here, I'm in my age, but even on pro bono, they owe me a favor. And they will pay back in a way they know or they don't know. Okay, fine. Now, please put me on Love FM. It is not been the to Love FM, going for the whole month, interviews you, K official puts you on, or for separate, YFM, late event, not performing one for you, complain. You won't, you can't. Most artists don't see these moments as, monumental moments of it in their building.